Now, Australia has asked the European Commission to review its decision to block a shipment of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Italy's foreign minister has defended the decision to block 250,000 doses being manufactured near Rome. It's the first intervention under the controversial EU scheme that allows member states to block vaccine shipments that they manufacture.
The UK and Germany have criticised the move, while France has defended it, flagging that it too could block exports to ensure its own supply. Europe correspondent Nick Doll has more.
Well, the message from the Italian government really seems to be no hard feelings, but we need this more than you do. Now, 250,000 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca jab were due to be heading Australia's way, but Italy blocked it using an EU regulation which was introduced earlier this year. Now, Australia insists that this won't affect our rollout because there's local production that's now ramping up that the government says will be able to fill the shortfall. Overnight, Italy's Foreign Minister Luigi Di Maio spoke about this. He says that this wasn't a hostile act towards Australia, but that Italy was acting within the rules. He says that AstraZeneca hasn't fulfilled its obligations in terms of supply to the continent, and so he says his country has acted.
All of Europe is now ravaged by the British variant and by the concern for the increase in infections. In coordination with the European institutions, we have decided not to allow the export of these 250,000 doses. It is not a hostile act towards Australia. We have only applied an EU regulation approved on January 30th.
And Nick, what is the COVID situation in Italy now?
Well, the COVID situation in Italy is getting steadily worse. Cases have been rising quite sharply in the last few days, and there were nearly 25,000 new cases recorded overnight and about 300 deaths as well. So there's no doubt that there is a great need in Italy for these vaccines. What is noteworthy is the number of AstraZeneca vaccines that Italy still does have up its sleeve. Official figures show that Italy so far only administered about a fifth of the AstraZeneca jabs that it has in stock. Now, that's not to say there won't be a shortfall in the future, but right now there are suppliers. There have been some issues of reluctance amongst the population in Europe concerning the Oxford AstraZeneca jab. Some European governments had suggested it wasn't appropriate for older people. They're now backtracking on that after seeing the sort of good results that it's delivering in the UK. So we may see that the demand for this Oxford AstraZeneca jab really does pick up in Europe in the next few weeks, which may justify this sort of this action from Italy.
And Nick, this was the first time vaccine supplies have been blocked from leaving the EU, but could we see it happen again?
I think it's entirely possible this could happen again. Just overnight, France's health minister said that his country would also consider blocking exports if contracts weren't fulfilled. Germany has also spoken on this. It was more reserved. It says that while pharmaceutical companies certainly do need to make sure that they're supplying Europe adequately, that they wouldn't necessarily at the moment see a need to be blocking exports off the continent. The UK has spoken about this. It has condemned Italy's actions, saying that any attempts to do this sort of thing would interrupt the supply chains that the global community is relying on, and that could undermine the global efforts to fight the virus. From Europe's perspective, it says that millions of these doses have already headed to dozens of countries already, that those exports are still taking place, and it stresses that as long as pharmaceutical companies keep their supplies up to Europe, there's no reason to stop them from leaving the continent.